it's recording. I'm with Felicia J. Starks. That I said your name correctly. Uh,
Yes.
she's a mom, entrepreneur, fitness enthusiast. You've been doing into fitness and this lifestyle, I think, for almost 11 years.
Yes.
So this is a person who's been all the way committed, as you can see. And the key to really losing and maintaining weight, it's all about mindset. And a lot of people you see online that they start fitness, it's New Year's coming up soon. Right now we'll be in the fitness high. Everyone and their mother is wanting to lose weight. So, but the key is, I think there should be a celebration for people all year round, 2 years, 3 years, but we have a person here who's done it 11 years, and that's commitment. And for that, it takes a certain mindset, which we're going to find out of what has helped her to stay focused on this journey to achieve the results that she has. Not only has she achieved results, she's competed, and as I said, that she's a mother. So if you're a mother watching this, you can do it. There are absolutely no excuses. So, Felicia, if you can tell, I already said a bit about you, what we don't know about you that you would like to share.
Well, thank you, Sasha, for this opportunity, and I just want to just kind of give kudos to you because we met, seems like maybe going on 2 years ago, and we met
Yeah.
online. And what I will say about you, and I appreciate you, is that your commitment to whatever you're focused on, you stay committed to it, and just you like many entrepreneurs, you like to shed light on different individuals that whether they are doing something big or something small. So I appreciate you doing that, and I see you, girl. You are looking. I'm loving this picture that you have on your profile. So thank you for that. And so yes, everything you said is correct. I am a mom, but even before I was a mom,
Mhm.
I was started being conscious about my my weight because I knew women that for that like maybe they were overweight or maybe not overweight but a little healthier than they probably should, and then after having kids it just seemed like it was harder. And I even remember having friends that when they had children, it
Mhm.
was like, oh gosh, it's so hard to get this off. And so I was like, okay, if I'm going to start a family, I wanted to get in the best shape that I could, so
Mhm.
that whenever I had kids, then it wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I'm still carrying around baby weight like 7 years later. So that was the thing. Oh my gosh. Sorry about the dog. Just kind of disclaimer. I have
It's all good.
a dog
We're
and
real people here. That's what
okay.
people can see.
So started I guess back in 2004, 2003,
Mhm.
and I started with Weight Watchers, and it wasn't everyone you start somewhere, and once you get to a certain point, then either oh wow, sorry.
It's all right.
So either you stay there. Oh, it's the neighbors. It's the neighbors.
It's
No.
okay.
Okay. So either you stay there, or because you are making progress, or you find something else, kind of because you get to a plateau. Started with
Mhm.
Weight Watchers, had great success with it, but I still didn't feel like I was where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So there are so many different products and things that you can do. The key thing, if you don't take anything, if whoever is watching this, you don't take anything else from this hangout, is that you have to find what's best for you. What works for Sasha
Mhm.
works well for her, but they may not work for me because She may have different things she likes, and we have different things. You know, I have something different than I like. You have something different that you like.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's so, you know, it's so broad. Some people love counting calories. I think it's stupid. That's me. I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah,
you're stupid.
I feel the
It's
same way.
so, I'll also just really briefly tell you why I told you kind of why I started and why I continued even after having my son. Preston, close the door because it is too loud. Thank you. So I have several family members that are overweight and have had, you know, high blood pressure, having to take medication for what the doctors told them for the rest of their lives. And I believe that we can heal our bodies with the foods that we eat or we don't eat.
Yep,
So it's been a commitment for me and and my family to make sure that, you know, I don't eat on point all the time, but my what keeps me where if I want to just go wild out and eat whatever is to, like, you know, what am I really putting in my body? It's good, but how is this affecting me? What am I teaching my son about, you know, doing, you know, just kind of going up and down on not really sticking to any kind of regimen.
that's awesome. So, that's great. You actually remind me. I don't know if you follow her online. Have you heard of Mariah King? The
No, I
No,
haven't.
no excuse, mom. So basically, she put out a poster of her and her three boys because she's a bikini competitor, and people were like, "How are you doing that? You're insulting other women. You know, what if women have problems?" And the reason why she did that, that's why she actually reminded me of you when you just said that you were surrounded with people that had problems and you wanted to be the opposite. It's like go in the opposite direction and be an example and a role model. So it's the reason why people like attacked her, and the same thing because her mom, you know, passed away in her 40s, had diabetes, had very bad health, and often we don't look at the reason why people do things. Usually it's because if we have a family member we care about, we want to be a good role model, or just be good role models to other people we know. So one of my questions is actually, since we found out what is your why, have you found this way of eating challenging when you first started? Like, how long did it take you since you've been at this 11 years, which is quite a long time? Heck, most people don't even last 6 months eating this way because they get distracted. You know, their friends talk them out of it. They're like, "Why are you doing this? I want to have a good time." You know, and they just go eat and don't pay attention because our bodies don't take vacations. Our minds do, but our bodies don't. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, that's where cellulite will always stay there. So it's like it will after vacation cellulite. So what made you stay focused, and how long was it that was challenging for you? How long did it take you to actually set in and make this lifestyle a habit?
That's a great question. Um, I, I s- when I started, seeing results, and when my clothes started fitting uh, bigger, and I was able to go down to sizes. Not, I never, there wasn't ever a focus on, oh, I want to be a size X. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when my clothes started fitting, so that I wasn't always pulling on them.
Yeah.
So I once that happened, I was like, well, dang, if this is all it was, then it became second nature.
Yeah.
And so, but I will say, um, in like I started the journey back in 2000, I think the end of 2003, 2004, and I was in transitioning, like we were preparing to move across
Mm-hmm.
the state to California. So just imagine you starting a new lifestyle, and then you start, you know, anytime you do any like big events, it can be stressful. So you talked about staying
Absolutely.
consistent.
Yeah.
Um, I will say that I had some times where I let the stress of what, you know, maybe it was life, not stress, but like
Mm-hmm.
anytime you're going through a move or anything like that, sometimes I would be like, I don't feel like working out, or I don't feel like eating what my body needs, and I just wanted to eat whatever. And
Yeah.
our bodies will remind us what it likes and what it doesn't.
That,
And
that
so,
that's the truth. I know that because this is the first trip. Usually I'm the same way. It's like, as you know, when you go on a trip, especially with our convention events that in our company, you always, like, at least for me, it's like you're out with friends. It's like people that are not as healthy. And,
yes.
what I was actually amazed, in a way, yes, people will try to challenge you to get into their way of eating. But
Mhm.
what I found, I actually lost 5 pounds first time on a vacation trip
That's good.
instead of gaining weight.
That's
So,
amazing.
so it tells you, even though people will want you, sometimes by showing that you're the tougher person, then people follow more your way because they, at the end of the day, they want to be like you and they wish they had that kind of discipline.
Yes, it's like mindset. We talk about mindset within being an entrepreneur. Like, no one that I know that is successful just wakes up and just goes along the day, doesn't feed themselves something to help them think on a higher level.
Yeah,
And that is the same way with someone, whether they are a fitness enthusiast, or they are an elite athlete, or they are a competitor.
hmm,
Even sponsored athletes or competitors.
yeah,
There's a mindset, and so the question about how do you keep it? It's like I have I have some sticky notes on my bathroom uh, mirror that today is the day for you to go after your goals. It's different sayings, but when I turn on that light and I'm looking in the mirror, brushing my teeth or whatever I'm doing,
hmm,
that's there in my eye level. I have to read it, and so not only am I reading it, but I'm saying it. So it may be kind of weird to someone, like, why are you talking about mindset? But if you're whatever it is that you're going for, so if you want to lose weight, or you want to
yeah,
trying to figure out why you can't stick with it, you make it up in your mind first that I'm going to commit to this. And saying, oh, I'm commit for 60 days, or there's a 90-day challenge,
yeah,
that's great. But the question is, so are you going to do all this and then 90 days, and then after the 90 days you just go back to whatever the lifestyle is?
yeah,
It's If you're going to do it, be in it for the lifestyle. Yes, you're going to have your like holidays and stuff like that, but mindset, and like you said, having friends that'll help hold you accountable,
yeah,
as well as it's good to have those friends that will test you, and just to see, like, oh, well, do you want this? Or, I know you're not going to eat this because you don't ever eat anything we
Often when I found that you usually change friends, at least for me, because it's very, um, like even
eat.
this trip, it was very interesting. And this trip was definitely a test for me, at least with a lot of people will tell you that, oh, you gain weight or things like that, but they
Mhm.
won't. When you're in this lifestyle, then they don't really say, especially with my family. It's very
Mhm.
tough on the Armenian side. So
Mhm.
we're all sitting at the table together, and this is how you know if you're really committed. It's like, go out, and everyone's ordering your favorite desserts. You can imagine. And you're
Mhm.
like, I order instead a cappuccino because I know my body doesn't take a vacation, you know.
Mhm.
And that's where I think maintaining weight and losing weight is easier. What are your thoughts on it for a results-driven person? If you're a results-driven person and you have an objective, it's going to be really hard until you reach your result to allow yourself to sort of. At least I don't know. I'm a red personality. If anyone
Mhm.
knows personality
I am
coaching,
too. Yes,
so
I am too.
so then you get me. When you're a red person, until you achieve your objective, you're not good. Anything's not going to phase you until you hit that objective. So if you're a results-driven person, especially for red personalities, it's easier to stay committed and focused than let's say another personality type.
Yes, I totally agree. And sometimes we also tend to be a little bit harder on ourselves because
Hmm.
even when we get there, it's like, okay, well, what else can I do now? Because
Always.
it's the challenge. I think the challenge is what keeps us going.
That's why I think a lot of red personalities are actually attracted more to the fitness lifestyle because a lot of people drop off, and that's why at least yeah, I mean if you are a sweet tooth person like I was, which is one of my hardest challenges, that which follows the next question for you. What was your biggest addiction or hardest addiction to drop to fully be committed to this lifestyle? If you had any addictions like sugar, was it hard for you to quit? And what it took you to have that switch to fully, ease into the lifestyle?
Oh
You
wow,
know,
that is you're asking great questions. Um, yes, the addiction to sweets and to sugar is real, and that's been my thing. And that was, somebody give you a title and you like carry it around. I'm like, I like sweets, and I really do like sweets.
hmm
Um, this year was the first year where I actually like started with meal prep. So this year has been, I learned so much about myself.
yeah,
Um, and so with the sugar addiction, um, it's like if you almost have to do a detox like someone does when they have either an alcohol or a drug problem. You have to do some type of detox, and it is our bodies resist it. So the way that I got over that is I started. My trainer would always like, hey, you need to do your meals for the week, and I was like, I don't really need to do that. And it's funny how sometimes we think we know when we really
yeah.
don't know. Um,
That's like until you start taking action and actually doing it, you can read as many articles as you want, but until you start doing meal prep consistently, then you find it's like the simple things that really give you massive results. And just getting those simple actions on a daily
mhm.
basis done, which become a challenge if you're doing it for the long run instead of for the short run.
Right. That's what it was. That the addiction, and I had to ask myself, because I could not operate um, and expect to be where I needed to be. Like I started my workouts at the end of January
Yeah.
this year, and the objective was just to get in shape for my 40th birthday. Um, there was a competition in May, and once
I
I started coming down, it was
remember.
like, well, shoot, I can probably compete because he was like, if you don't compete, what's gonna happen is you're gonna be like upset because you're gonna see girls that are bigger than you, like that you could have been okay. So the meal prep is what got me over that hump, and it can be boring, but I have found ways to
Mm-hmm.
get over the whole like eating the same thing. So to answer your question, the addiction was sugar, and
Mm-hmm.
when I don't have the sugar,
Mm-hmm.
and or even when I do have a cheat day, keeping in my mind, what are you like? Why are you doing this? What do you want? Like, do you want to? This is what you want right now. Are you treating yourself? Are you giving yourself treats like a dog, like you
I
give a
remember
dog,
that post you wrote.
or like, because after my competition, I have a probably like 4 days where I just not eat whatever, but those things that I didn't eat, I will indulge a little bit. So it's worth it for me, and that works for me. Now it doesn't work for everyone, but it's working for me.
So my other question is, what is the most sort of reward? Because a lot of people, the reason why it's tough for them to um, get into the shape they want because they haven't found out what is the end result that's worth it to them. For instance, one of I guess it's like my examples. I think it's better to look good all day and feel good than versus 5 minutes of pleasure and then you feel like crap all day. That's at least for me.
That's
So
great.
what is your end result that you enjoy most that makes you continue stick to it all day? Because for some people, food is more important. Where did you sort of find that sweetness to stay committed?
Hmm. Another great question. And it may be TMI, but I it used to be my objective was to like I wanted to get into these size 4 pants, but I got into them, but I still had a little bit of a gut. Um, and when you go from say dieting to where um, you have a lifestyle where you're working out and you're eating according to what your body needs,
Yeah.
you look so different. And
Hmm.
so for me, whenever I'm about to step in the shower and I look at certain things. When I see my shoulders, more definition in my arms, and even my chest area, my stomach, like that to me, because I can look great in clothes, but it's about what I look like in my most natural state.
So
So that,
yeah.
and then too, because in that state, like um, competing, if you and you've seen them, bikini competitors to
Mhm.
bodybuilder, whatever, it's not a lot of fabric for you to cover up. So
That's for
you
sure.
gotta have it, and that's it's just I feel good, and when I feel good, I look good, regardless of what I have on. And I'm
Yeah.
not being conceited at all. It's just that's just a fact.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting though, society, what I've noticed, it's like until people that focus, at least from my opinion, and that's another question. A
Mhm.
lot of people see, I guess, bodybuilders and fitness as very vain and into looks, but here's the difference: is the fact that I think people that are driven by food are often is because they're unconscious in their body. And it takes a lot when you're working those muscles. A lot of people, they are in their bodies, but they don't live in their bodies.
Ooh,
And as
wee,
a
that's
result,
powerful.
they are detached from their bodies. So
Hmm.
I think, in a way, we have this twisted way of seeing bodybuilders when people, I think, in fitness are more conscious. Because if you're a conscious person, you can't allow yourself, you don't feel good if you have, because you're so conscious of the fat on your body, you don't feel comfortable. So,
Right.
would you say for you, what did it take you um, from the time that you were unconscious to sort of wake up and start feeling and actually living in your body? Like, do you
Ooh,
see
wow.
the difference?
Um, my consciousness about about my body and what I was putting into my body, even though I've been working out, was did not happen until 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and then becoming when we can educate ourselves on our own without somebody forcing it on us,
Yeah.
it just opens up your entire world.
Yeah.
So once I started listening to my body,
Mm-hmm.
after I ate this, and then I had this reaction,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's not a reaction that I want, then that's eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really been in tune with our bodies,
Yeah.
because if you eat something and every time you eat it, it upsets your stomach. Okay, you got to break down what is it what is it? Why do I keep doing this? Because I know what effect it's going to have.
Yeah.
So, as far as being really in tune with my body and really saying, okay, I'm not going to do this because this is going to affect this over here. And because I had the first competition this year, I was so like I knew that my body is keeping an accurate journal of everything that I do, whether it be exercise or food. So it became like, okay, I have to be conscious about what I'm eating and asking questions. And so, yeah, maybe it was kind of weird that when I had outings with my family and friends that I brought my own food, but I can't guess on what all ingredients you have in your food. It may sound good, but I know what's in this because I prepared it. So it was no problem for me to ask, hey, can you warm up my food? And if you can't, I'll eat before I meet up with y'all because that's how important it was to me, and it is to me, especially when I know when it's season. You know, when I'm in full
Yeah,
contest prep, there's no there's very little room for you to you don't want to make try different things, especially as you get closer to your contest.
absolutely. That's, I think, a part of it that why I, in a way, I'm not ready for that level yet. So I'm just working on getting to the my goal and my end result. But I guess in a way, what took you from just reaching your like size 4 that you said that to fit to look good and fit into clothes that you
Hmm.
wanted to? What took you to the next level? Because I absolutely know that's what's amazing about contest prep. Any other area, even in entrepreneurship, there could be bias or how people reach success. But in fitness, our bodies are so incredibly designed that in fitness, this is how you win. You follow the directions, you eat. It's like
Hmm.
it doesn't lie. So it's not biased. Our
Right.
body will show if you, the only reason if we didn't win or this is not because the judges are biased, or sometimes, yes, it can be posing and stuff like that, but
Hmm.
our bodies will show what work we put. So it can't lie. It's not, how do you call it? It won't be rigged. That's my
Right.
point. It's one
Right.
area in your life that it shows everything you do, and that's why I really like it because it's not biased versus
Hmm.
anywhere in the world. Even if you're talented, sometimes the most talented people don't get anywhere because it's biased. And in this one place, of course, there are inner politics in every competition and things like that, but you have more success potential. Anyone can compete if they follow direction and just do what it says. That's what I love. It's mindset. So what took you to that next level to be able to, because it's a lot for me. And when I see women competing, you have to feel so confident, at least how I see it, to be able to get yourself on stage because you're really naked in front of thousands of people, and then your husband has to be comfortable with it.
Yes.
So what took you is like, especially when you from that losing weight, if you
Yes.
ever felt self-conscious about to being almost naked on the stage, because it takes a lot of guts. At least that's how I see it.
You know what? That all your questions are great. Like, I need to have your questions. Um, um, it was a mind. It was a mind shift.
Mhm.
Once, because one, I the competition was before my birthday. I knew I wanted to look amazing for my birthday, so I was like, okay, I can, get okay. But once I started seeing changes in my body, and I didn't see them like looking in the mirror necessarily, I saw them as I took progressive photos. And
Yeah.
as I saw that, and you know how maybe you get compliments. I'm the kind of person, I'm like, I don't have to have it, but when you get compliments and like, oh, you look great, and I'm like, oh yeah, right, whatever. But
Yeah.
when I'm getting different comments and I'm looking at progress, I was like, well, dang, I don't look so bad. And then not that I thought I looked bad anyway,
Oh, you're
but
a red personality, so you're hard on yourself naturally. So.
so as I got closer to because the competition was in May, eating on point, exercise, doing whatever my trainer told me to do, and of course you have to go get a competition suit. And so my lady is here local, and so I put this. She was like, "Hey, here, try this on," and I like put it on. That was a surreal moment because it's basically a bikini, but it's not like your behind is this big and this covering like this right here. I mean, just kind of give you a visual. But I took photos when I went to to try it on, and I was like, wow. It wasn't until then I was like, wow, like I'm really doing this, and so really,
Like just sunk in.
so it was like, well, shoot, I'm gonna do this because I've gone too far to go to like stop. I like, spend the money here and spending so like I was fully committed. So the mindset, the food, and of course the dollars were enough to have me totally committed to the process. And I was kind of thinking like, oh, I might be nervous because along with all of the things that you prepare for, there's also you can get a coach that'll kind of help you with posing because you talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
How you can present your package. So maybe I have a little area that in my stomach or something that I can kind of deflect the attention. The coach helps me with that, and even getting feedback from her, like considering you started hearing you hear like great. The day of the competition or the weekend, it was almost kind of like an out of body experience because I was like, I can't believe I'm not nervous. Like I'm like I've done some speaking engagements before. I was more nervous doing that, and I was fully clothed
I can
than
only imagine. How did your
getting on stage. So stepping on stage, knowing that I had done the work, knowing that I was committed to the process, knowing where I started from.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, there was nothing that you could say. Even like my husband was very supportive. Awesome. Go ahead and open the door. There was nothing that you could say that would make me think that I was not built to be on that stage that day. So that's
Was
where
it?
my mind was
Did,
like totally made up.
did you have as you were, since you've been committed a long time, when you first started the switch from just regular to pro competition, which is a whole nother level of commitment, because it's like you have people judging you, judges judging you for every inch of extra fat that you have on your body, which is
Um,
very, you have to expose yourself and it's being vulnerable on stage. So people, because it's brutal,
mhm.
absolutely. Like, you may think one thing and you're like thinking, oh, I look good, and then a judge will say something else,
Yes.
and not also letting that phase you. Did you have people when you switched from regular to pro doubt you? And what was the shift, and how do people react and treat you now? Did you notice how people treat you differently since going regular eating to now pro commitment that you?
Yes, and it came from the most like I was thinking that it would, everyone would be, not everyone would be on board, but some of the ones that I really thought would be big supporters and had always supported me didn't
Mm-hmm.
support me like I thought that they would. And yes, look up under your bed. Oh, it's in the trunk of my car. No, I cannot. Can you open up? Um, if you hit the trunk button, the trunk button on the key has that's where his basketball is. Hey, and so like, hey, you too small, you getting too skinny or whatever,
Like
and
those kind of comments, yeah.
yes, and so comments like that, like, no, I'm not. I actually need to be smaller, but to someone that doesn't really, that's not familiar with it, they will not really be aware how that can affect you. But I just took it like, okay, well, that's your opinion, and that's not my reality. So I just kept it moving because I was committed, and so I couldn't let any sideways. You could be looking at me sideways, whatever. But I just kept going.
Were you always a confident person, or did you have to develop that along the way as you got into this lifestyle?
I developed it along the way because I used to, because even prior to the business that we in together, um,
Hmm.
very big on what other people's opinions of me was. And
Yeah.
so, with that being the case, I was a people pleaser. Um, but I mean, that's why I was like, when I found out I was a red personality, I was like, what? But
Yeah,
my
no.
mind,
When I first also took the test, it was interesting. I was a different personality type. Then when you once you start hanging around with red personalities, then even though I had red personalities, what happens is more of the red is brought out in you. So it's
hmm
like whoever you hang around most. That's why I think one of the hardest thing, which is why I said asked about did people support you or not. Did you change friends over the period, like people that you hoped would support you? Did you? Because it's very, a lot of people will ask, why are you doing this? You know, you look fine, and then they
hmm
drop off the wagon because you're really making them step up. And a lot of people, that's why also why people don't like fitness enthusiasts and people that are into it, because you're really you're challenging them because you're challenging yourself. And people often are so self-centered that they think that around you, then they start feeling insecure. If that
yes,
makes sense.
that is so true. I had some that I started with on the journey, and no, not around
Hmm.
at this point for whatever reason, whether it be, I mean, I don't know, but um, even with that, I didn't. I'm on a hangout, Ruby. I'm on a hangout right now. It's being recorded. And so even though like I said, they started with me. I they like you said,
Hmm.
because of my lifestyle, it was like, well, she gonna like I was gonna try to make them do the same thing.
Yeah.
I can't make you do anything you don't want to do. If you ask me questions, I will always, offer any kind of advice. Um, it may not be the advice you're looking for, because you might say, okay, well, they're wanting for me to say, oh, well, you can eat whatever, or if you exercise or whatever, then you can still eat this, and that's not the case. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm just gonna keep it real. And so, um, the ones that are still, the ones that are still cool with me, it's meant for them to be, and the ones that's not, um, we have our seasons for, so I'll say associates or friends, and so I don't. I know it's not anything that I did. It's maybe issues that they have. So I'm gonna still treat you the same I did before, and
Hmm.
love you just the same.
Yeah. So then the other question, what do you love most? What's the result that you love most from this lifestyle? Like why do you find for you, uh, why this lifestyle and going through all that you have worth it? And what would, if you were going to suggest for a person who's starting, to be able to stay. Because I think the biggest challenge is to stay at 9 months minimum. Because once you're like past the 9 months, it's there's always the joke of the person who's 3 months and now they think they're a fitness expert all of a sudden.
That's very true.
So
Um,
yeah, so then that's the question. What would you recommend a person who wants to go this clean eating lifestyle, and why? What do you find worth it in this to go through all the obstacles that you have?
okay, so a two-part question.
Yep.
The first part, as far as staying committed to it, right?
Mhm.
Um, and going back to mindset. it's I know probably like, oh gosh, the whole mindset. But once you make a commitment to whatever it is that you're going to do, whether it be fitness, whether it be to get your life together, whatever it is, you make the commitment, and you don't just make the commitment mental. You um, there there has to be something, whatever this goal is. So whether your goal is you don't want to compete, but you just want to be healthy, or maybe you're on medication and the doctor said you got to be on it forever, then it, yeah, I don't want to be on medication forever. So I'm gonna stick with this, and eat better so that I can get off this medication that is just giving me other symptoms. So for me, it's making sure that, because I have two people in my family on my mother's side, maternal, that
Mhm.
have had breast cancer
Yeah.
twice, grandmother and mother.
Yeah.
So um, I know that genes have a lot to do with it, but more
Absolutely.
importantly, food has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So that is in the forefront of me staying committed to being healthy.
Yeah.
So finding what that why is. Why do you want to lose weight?
Mhm.
If it's for someone else, you will not stay committed to it because it's
Absolutely. That's
what
what I
they
found.
want. If it's for a spouse, it's for what they want, because what happens if if they make you mad or something, you like, well, I'm not going to do this because you're giving me a hard time over here. So it has to be something that is internal. Maybe you just want to feel better. So it's really going back to figuring out why is what don't you like right now that you have the power to change, and how committed are you to doing it, and how much is it worth?
Yeah.
The other part of your question, I forgot.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was a two-part question. Let me try to remember myself. Yeah, so for a person, so my first one, as you said, was for a person just getting into it. And then what to you, why, for you, what's your, I guess, what do you love most about this lifestyle? And why have you gone, like, what helped you stay motivated to go through all the obstacles and stay on track? I mean, even when you fell off sort of the wagon, even temporarily, you still got back to it. And that's what shows a person who is really passionate about it.
What keeps me going is just knowing that um, I have complete control over how I live. So um, if I don't, if there's something that I feel like can be better about
Yeah.
me and how I feel about myself, then
Hmm.
I have the power to change that, and I can. I mean, it's not. It's really just okay. What's the goal? I want to look like this, da 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 da, and this is what's required. So knowing that in order for me to say I really like a feature that I like on myself is
Hmm.
my legs, as well as my like shoulder and arms. And
Yeah.
so in order for me to maintain that, I definitely have to eat clean. I
Hmm.
don't have to eat clean 100% of the time, but at least 90% of the week I need to be eating clean. And the result that I get from that is that I can still continue to see my muscle structure. I'm not,
Yeah.
adding a lot of fat to my body, and I'm working my muscles to keep everything lean. And so I think you said something about the clean eating.
Yeah.
Um, Clean eating can be boring if you
Absolutely.
don't um, explore options that will make your food taste really good, because that a lot of times people say, well, I don't want to commit to it because I don't want to eat this all the time. I don't want to eat that all the time. It's finding out, okay, the combinations. I can eat chicken, fish, or turkey or whatever, and
Hmm.
have these sides. not unless you're in a low sodium where you need to have low sodium. Add some flavor without the whole salt and thing. And it's just really figuring out what you really like. And you might realize that you like cooking more than you thought you did, but you are also controlling what you eat. So I talk a lot about reading your labels, but if you're cooking your own food, then you're taking a big stressor away, because when it comes time to, oh gosh, I'm hungry, you already have food ready. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons that people fail and they give up, because they're not eating enough, so they're hungry.
Hmm.
And so staying committed to the process and giving your body what you need is
Hmm.
gonna help the results.
So, my biggest takeaway, so we can basically summarize for a person who's watching this and wants to get on this journey, is that for you, the biggest thing is commitment, that you have to be, again, all in, committed,
Mhm.
that you have a big why, that you can't get into this lifestyle if you're either, if you want to, let's say, if you've broken up with someone, you're trying to impress them and get into shape, it's like you're going to fall off, hit a plateau. So you have to do it for yourself. Then the second part, is I understood, is affirmations, so that to help you stay focused, get you in the right state to
Mhm.
um, then not everyone has to compete, but if you're a red personality, want to take it to the next level, that like you went into competition, because if you didn't go all in, again, that for some people they need that extra push to really be tested. And then the fourth part is that sometimes having friends and family that are not part of that lifestyle is really actually good for the test to see how committed you are. So those were my four takeaways. And then my other question, what advice would you give to a busy mom that's watching, and that how do you fit this in, because I know you're a full-time business person as well, or part-time, and that you're into nutrition, and how do you manage this? How would you suggest for someone who's busy, has an active lifestyle, to stay focused, uh, to help her so she can get into the whatever size that she wants to feel good and look good?
Great question. Yes, moms, we know that preparation is key to keeping a smooth running household, whether it be preparing at night for, getting the kids ready.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the um, my prep day is either Saturday night or
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, and I cook my food up.
Yeah.
Um, at the beginning, my son didn't really like the food
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't eat everything that I eat.
Mm-hmm.
But he now is like, oh, what are you eating? Can I have some? So it's preparing in advance what you're gonna have for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not just saying like one meal. I'm saying like from breakfast to your last meal of the day, knowing what you're going to have. Maybe you don't prepare it the whole week, but at least have your meals for yourself and for your family prepared, because that way, whatever, whether it be homework or whatever, um, there's never, what you're going to eat will not be an excuse for the reason that you slipped up on Monday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday, and you like Friday, like I've had a tough week, because you are already prepared.
Yeah.
So, and then including your kids. Oh my gosh, like I don't know too many kids that really don't like to do exercises, and really they need to do it anyway. My son goes with me to the gym. That may not be.
I saw those pictures. I think that's awesome when parents and kids team up.
Yes. Yes. He loves going. He doesn't always want to go, and whenever he doesn't want to go, hey, that's cool. But and that makes some people may not have a gym like that, but involving the kids in what you're doing and letting them know, hey, I'm doing this because of this, and them seeing you push harder. We're teaching all the time. They're watching us,
Hmm.
so it's just something like it's just a lesson that they get to see hey, mom is committed to this, and whatever I'm going for, as long as I'm committed, I'll reach my goal, whatever that goal is.
Mhm.
So preparing in advance for the week is key. And whether you, I mean, it maybe take 2 hours, and so that's the biggest suggestion that I have for the busy mom, to
Mhm.
prepare in advance, because if you're just, going day by day, and you don't know what's going to be for dinner on Monday or on Friday, or whether maybe you're gonna have a eat out for dinner on Friday, but in advance, hey, I'm gonna go to Fridays. I know what's on their menu. I know what I'm gonna get.
Mhm.
Because maybe I'm not gonna eat,
Yeah.
what I normally eat, but I know what I can eat that's not gonna take me so far off track, so that it's gonna, interrupt my regimen. So
Yeah.
preparation is key,
Mhm.
and just remembering that we're teaching our kids something in all of it.
Mhm. That's awesome. So thank you so much for the interview. I took away so much, and hopefully whoever's watching this, that we're taking notes as, you get to listen to someone who's been 11 years at this, because a lot of, we are coming close to New Year's, so this is absolutely the time to not to start preparing after New Year's like everyone does, and that's what I
Yes.
noticed. There should be like a reward for people that stay year round, because when everyone's excited during the fitness hype, and everyone's just a lot of it is just great to just reward yourself for sticking throughout all year round. That you're not
Right.
just doing this when everyone's excited, you're committed, and that's the hardest part. That's how you know that you're committed. So thank you so much for taking your time
Thank you, Sasha.
to answer my questions. And when is your next competition? Are you competing again or
Yes, the
what's?
next competition will be in May,
Mhm.
and I will be in the winner's circle.
Awesome. I'm excited to see that. So if you're watching this and if you want to be connected to Felicia J. Starks, find her on Facebook and find her fan page, like her, and follow her for her next competition in May. So
Thank you.
thank you everyone for watching. So.